Good afternoon, everyone, and a very hearty welcome to Aurora Online Classes. This is Sanjay Sinha with a new lesson for the students of 9th standard and 9thers. Once again, I am back with a new lesson for you from Behive, and that is a truly beautiful mind. A truly beautiful mind. Actually, this lesson is the biographical account of a scientific genius. This lesson gives us the biographical account, many aspects of the biography of one of the greatest scientists of 20th century, Albert Einstein. So today we shall come to know about the greatest scientists of the world, Albert Einstein. And Albert Einstein, such a scientist, such a genius, does not need any introduction. A scientist is for humanity. A scientist is for mankind. So let us read about Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein, undoubtedly one of the greatest scientists of the 20th century, known for the theory of relativity. So we shall come to know about him. We shall study the different aspects, the various aspects of his life. Apart from being a scientist, he was also a well-wisher of humanity. He always desired for world peace. He desired for democracy. He always advocated for the rights of the people. So he believed in world peace and he advocated for world peace. He advocated for non-violence and he advocated for the peace and prosperity of mankind of this world. So such a scientist who had great love and respect for mankind, who had great love and respect for humanity, who was always concerned, who was always bothered, who was always worried about humanity, means human beings. That is why he was a genius. Genius means, if we call someone genius, means someone is exceptionally talented, one who has extraordinary talent, one who is exceptionally talented, exceptionally intelligent, or one who has extraordinary talent or intelligence which makes him or her different from others, which sets him or her apart from the common people, which gives him a right place, a right position, and that is called genius. So I would say the word genius means one who is exceptionally talented, means one who has extraordinary talent in a particular activity, in a particular area. So in the field of science, actually Albert Einstein was exceptionally talented. So such a person who is exceptionally talented, extraordinary intelligent, is called genius. So he is called Means Einstein is a synonym for genius, scientific genius. So he was a scientific genius. Let us talk about and touch the different aspects of his life as a student, as a child, as a physicist, theoretical physicist, the scientist I mean to say. So a truly beautiful mind refers to Albert Einstein, who had love, respect, compassion, and sympathy for human beings, for humanity, who was kind to humanity, who was concerned about humanity, who was bothered about humanity, who was a well wisher of humanity. That is why a truly beautiful mind, whose mind was truly beautiful, apart from being a scientist, he was concerned about the well-being of the people, well-being of the humanity of mankind. His heart was for humanity, which was full of love, affection, honor, respect for humanity. So truly beautiful mind. Albert Einstein was born on 14th March 1879 in the German city of Ulm, without any indication that he was destined for greatness. On the contrary, his mother thought Albert was a freak. To her, his head seemed much too large. Underline it. Albert Einstein was born on 14th March 1879 in a German city named Ulm. So he was born in Ulm. Ulm is a German city in Germany. And actually this man was, nobody predicted that one day such a child will be the greatest scientist of the world. He will be the greatest scientist of 20th century of the world. Nobody had predicted. There was no such indication in Einstein when he was a child. His mother thought that this child is a freak. So his mother, Einstein's mother, termed him as a freak. Freak means abnormal. So his mother thought him to be an abnormal child. The word freak, a word used disapprovingly to talk about a person who is unusual and doesn't behave, look, or think like others. So if you call someone freak, it means he is not a normal child. His behavior is abnormal, one who is with lesser or less intelligent. So Einstein's mother termed him as freak, means this child is an abnormal child, this child is less intelligent, this child is having less intelligence. To her, his head seemed much too large, and when he was a child, his head was very big, very large, very huge. So he was a child with huge head, a very big head. So it also led his mother think about him to be freak, that this child is abnormal. Nobody, as I have said right now, that nobody predicted that one day such a child with big head would be the greatest scientist of 20th century of the world. Now, paragraph 2. At the age of 2.5, Einstein still wasn't talking. When he finally did learn to speak, he uttered means spoke, bolna, everything twice. Einstein did not know what to do with other children, and his playmates called him boring brother. Underline it. So the youngster played by himself much of the time. He especially loved mechanical toys. Underline it. He especially loved mechanical toys. Looking at his newborn sister Maja, he is said to have said, "Fine, but where are her wheels?" Actually, at the age of 2.5, means when Einstein was 2.5 years old, he wasn't talking. He could not utter anything. And finally, when he learned to speak something, he uttered everything twice. Means when Einstein was 2 years and a half old, he used to utter everything twice. Means he used to repeat the same words. And he did not know what to do with other children. Actually, his childhood friends, he kept himself aloof from his childhood friends. He was not a sociable child. He did not mix up with his friends. He did not interact with his friends. He did not play with his friends. He remained to himself. He got confined to himself only. That is why his friends termed him as boring brother. Why did they term him as boring brother? Why did his friends call him boring brother? Because he was not interested in playing with his friends. He was confined to himself, and actually he remained to himself. He did not interact with his friends. He did not play with his friends. He kept himself away from his friends. That is why his friends called him boring brother. Now, he especially loved mechanical toys. He played with mechanical toys. Mechanical toys means toys made of machine. So, actually, this this gives us an indication about his interest in machine. And here we can get an indication about his interest in machines, his interest in physics. He used to play with mechanical toys made of machine. And one day he remarked at his newborn sister it is said that when he saw his little sister, newborn sister Maja, he remarked, "Where are her wheels?" Because he used to play with the mechanical toys. He used to play with the toys made of machine, and most probably the toys with which he used to play may have some wheels, maybe some wheeled toys. So I would say, when he looked at his newborn sister Maja, he just remarked, he asked, "Where are her wheels?" Here wheels means where are her feet, where are her legs, uske पैर कहाँ हैं. So actually he called his newborn sister's feet wheels. Means he termed his sister's feet as wheels. This shows his interest about machines, about physics. Now, paragraph 3rd. A headmaster once told his father that what Einstein chose as a profession wouldn't matter, because he'll never make a success at anything. Underline it. Einstein began learning to play the violin at the age of 6. Underline it. Because his mother wanted him to, he later became a gifted amateur violinist, maintaining this skill throughout his life. Actually, when Albert Einstein was a student, he was not a bad student, he was a very good student. Once the principal of his school gave a negative statement about Albert Einstein. He gave such a bad statement, such a negative statement to his father, to Einstein's father, that this child cannot bring any success, or this child cannot get any success in any field of life. Whatever profession this child chooses, whatever career this child chooses for himself, this child is not never going to be succeed. This is the negative statement made by the principal about Einstein to his father. Apart from study, he was very much interested in violin, and it was Einstein's mother who always encouraged Einstein to play the violin. And that is how, on his mother's insistence, Einstein learned playing the violin at the age of 6. So, playing violin, he was a very good violinist. He played the violin very well. He had started learning the violin at the age of 6. And he was an amateur violinist. Means playing the violin was not his profession. He did not play the violin for the sake of money. It was his hobby, amateur. Amateur means doing something for personal enjoyment rather than as a profession. Means when you do something for your personal pleasure, when you do something as a hobby, that is called amateur. So he was a gifted amateur violinist, maintaining this skill throughout his life. He maintained the skill of violin throughout his life. He was a good violinist, but playing the violin was his hobby. It was not his profession. That is why there is the word amateur. Paragraph 4. But Albert Einstein was not a bad pupil. Pupil means student. But Albert Einstein was not a bad pupil. He went to high school in Munich, where Einstein's family had moved when he was 15 months old, underline it, and scored good marks in almost every subject. Einstein hated the school's regimentation. Regimentation means strict discipline. Regimentation, underline it, and often clashed with his teachers. At the age of 15, Einstein felt so stifled there that he left the school for good. For good means forever, hamesha ke liye. As I have said right now, that he was not a bad student. What does it mean? It means that he was a good student, and he always scored good marks in each and every subject. So he was admitted in the high school in Munich, and actually his parents shifted to Munich. Means Einstein's parents shifted to Munich when Einstein was merely 15 months old. So his parents, Einstein's parents, shifted to Munich with this child when he was 15 months old, and from thereafter he grew up in Munich, and later on he was admitted to a high school where Einstein did not like the strict discipline of that school. So we have a word regimentation. This regimentation is a synonym for strict discipline. So Einstein did not like the strict discipline, of the school in Munich. And then what happened? He was not feeling comfortable. Means Einstein did not feel comfortable in the high school of Munich. That is why he did not want to go to that school, and Thereafter, after some time, he left the high school in Munich for good, means for ever. So he left that school, he left that high school. The previous year, Albert's parents had moved to Milan and left their son with relatives. After prolonged discussion, Einstein got his wish to continue his education in German-speaking Switzerland, in a city which was more liberal than Munich. I taught you that 1 year before, Albert's parents shifted to Milan. Milan is an Italian city, it's a city in Italy, and he left his son, not he, they left his son to their relatives. So Einstein was left with his relatives there, and they discussed a lot about Einstein's education, as to which school Einstein should be admitted. And then after a long discussion about Einstein's education, it was decided that Einstein should be admitted to some German speaking school, and then Einstein was admitted to some German speaking school in Switzerland. And this German speaking school was in one of the cities of Switzerland. Here, the atmosphere of this new school, this German speaking school, was different from that of Munich. We have come to know that Einstein was not comfortable in the previous school in Munich, but now everything was good for Einstein. He was feeling comfortable, and Germany, I mean to say in Germany, not in Germany, in Switzerland, since it was a German speaking school, German was used as a means of communication. He was feeling comfortable here. Number two, this school did not have a very strict discipline what he had experienced in his previous school. So altogether, I would say, all I can say that in this new German speaking school of Switzerland, he was more comfortable than that of Munich. So Einstein was highly gifted in mathematics and interested in physics, and after finishing school, he decided to study at a university in Zurich. Zurich is in Switzerland. But science wasn't the only thing that appealed to the dashing young man with the walrus mustache. Einstein was highly gifted, very intelligent in mathematics and physics. These two subjects were the subjects of his interest. He took keen interest in these two subjects, and after finishing high school, he decided to study at a university in Zurich. But till now, he had become a very smart young fellow, a very smart young man. So he was interested in these two subjects, and apart from having interests in these two subjects, means other than science and mathematics, Einstein was also interested in some other areas of life. There was something else which attracted Einstein's attention. He was fascinated towards something else other than science and mathematics. So, dear students, we have discussed about Einstein's childhood, his education, his behavior. His mother called him a freak. Even his friends also called him boring brother. So we have discussed several aspects of his life till now, and I'll discuss the rest of the things in my next class. I'll explain the rest of the things in my next class. Till then, take care of yourself, study well, stay blessed, keep learning, keep practicing. Thank you very much. That's all for today.